Welcome to the modern industrial world, people, in which we are living in unprecedented times. And for all intents and measures, there are a few subjects that need to be talked about, because I think anyone with a half-functioning brain would be able to otherwise bring up a few subjects that are more or less important. As you know, people, we are living in a time of enslavement, so to speak. A time in which we ourselves will not be able to control if we continue down this path. And what do I mean by this, by what I am saying? Well, the title of this video should be fairly obvious. And as such, there is something that has to be brought up. I think we are all aware about our financial enslavement. I mean, when you look at the way the world is, it makes one wonder about the state of this world, for all intents and measures. And the reason why I bring this up is because no doubt this is something that needs to be talked about. We are all aware with how the system is attempting to so-called game the system through artificial means and control our means of income and our means of obtaining the only means of exchange, money. We all know that the system is trying and attempting to do this to us in order to enslave us. Well, newsflash, people, we already are living in such time. And the reason why I bring this up is because some really scary things have really got me thinking about my future. And nothing says that louder than having your bank accounts, having banks and financial transactions like Patreon, PayPal, Stripe, and all that literally censor and suppress you because of wrongthink. And like it or not, this all derives from the modern industrial society, people. Welcome to your own enslavement. As you know, these days you can't have such a thing because of wrongthink. And the reason why I bring this up is because a bank a while ago apparently felt the need to terminate their services with a man who was associated with a center-right activist group, the Proud Boys. Because apparently you can't have a bank account if you engage in wrongthink. You can't have anything whatsoever. And we all know what's going to happen if this ever becomes a cashless society in every sense. We all know what's going to happen if that ever becomes reality, people. The reason why I bring this up is because it's coming to a time in which we need to consider our position within this world. That if we want to continue surviving and thriving the way we are now currently, or much better, we need to find alternatives. And what do I mean by that? I mean not on a technological stance, but more on a pragmatic individualist point. And what I am saying is that we need to find other ways to secure our financial future, to secure our means of income, as in we need to get smart and start planning ahead. Because when you look at all around you, things are starting to look a little more dark. And what do I mean by this? I'm talking about complete and total financial enslavement. As in, when this society gets rid of cash because the government forces it, aka regulations and laws and rules and all that, there will not be any chance to defy the so-called system. Because, well, if you engage in wrongthink, you can't have a bank account. If you say the wrong set of words, you can't have a financial transaction account. You can't have anything related to the financial system. And that's my point, people. This is the works of the modern industrial society, in which the moment they get rid of the only means of income, that being paper money, of course, or should we just call it for what it is, federal notes. The moment they get rid of that is the moment they can put us permanently into a permanent submissive position in which we will not have any way of ever crawling out. As in, they can permanently silence and censor and suppress us effectively. Nearly 99.9% of the population will be silenced, aka basically meaning total, complete financial enslavement and tyranny. And that's what it's going to come down to if we do not attempt to otherwise get our act together and look for alternatives and try to steadily and slowly pull away from the technological world. And the reason why I bring this all up now is because of the rampant censorship, suppressing and repressing of individual intellects by cutting off their payment processors and having their bank accounts seized, pretty much, in a sense. And according to these leftists, these liberals, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly okay. And there's my endpoint, people, is that if this keeps on going, if this keeps on being the way it is, we will not have a future. As in, we all know the system is gamed. We all know that the system is rigged. But what will happen if they do get rid of cash, if they make it aka illegal to have anything more or less than that of a bank account and digital numbers? You're not going to be able to get out of this, because first and foremost, people will be too afraid to defy it, and second off, the system and the way it is implemented and the control grid in which is in place will literally squeeze the life out of any and all those who attempt to defy it. Basically meaning 99.99% of the population will be silenced, suppressed, and enslaved permanently. This is the financial, technological enslavement, if you want to be more or less precise. And this is the future in which we are looking at, if this keeps on going. And if you dare criticize it or object to it, well, then you can't have a bank account. You can't have a payment processor. You can't have anything because of wrongthink. And as such, well, with that comes fairly a great deal of problems. And you know what? It'll be perfectly legal because my private banks, my private companies, and so forth.